NASCAR All-Star Race at Texas, a failure in every possible way. Let's talk about it. Coming up next. What is going on, everybody? Hope you are having a good Monday. All right, let's get it out of the way. There was absolutely nothing good about the All-Star Race. It was a failure on every level, from the BS caution to the tires to the venue. Everything about this race was absolutely terrible. So let's start off with the caution and the finish. Less than 30 feet from the start-finish line, NASCAR throws a caution, which normally would end a race, but because we had special all-star rules for the race, it didn't end the race. So 30 feet before the start-finish line, NASCAR throws a caution for a wreck that never would have been a caution anywhere at any track ever for any reason, because Ricky Stenhouse basically just scraped the wall and that was it. No debris, no nothing. No need to throw that caution. So the caution itself was BS. And after the caution, Blaney took his window net down because he thought he had won, because every other race you ever race at, the rule is thus last lap. If a caution comes out, that ends the race. So he takes his window net down. He never gets the window net back up, and they restart the race. He ends up winning anyway, thank God. Thank God he won anyway. So Ryan Blaney basically won the race twice. Give the man $2 million because he won it twice. But total BS, and here's why I say that, because they never should have restarted this race with Ryan Blaney's window net down. I do agree with Denny Hamlin there, because if something had happened, if anything had happened, and Ryan Blaney got in a wreck, he could have seriously been injured. This is the biggest total lack of safety, horrible decision NASCAR could have ever made, because that window net is there for a reason. It was total disregard. It was disrespectful to the driver. It was disrespectful to throw the caution, period. But it was disrespectful to the driver's safety for them to let that car start that second restart with his window net not properly affixed. They should have thrown the red flag, had a crew member walk out there, fix the window net, because it is an all-star race, and because this rule only exists for this all-star race. Just do the right thing here. You've already screwed up and thrown an unnecessary caution, and just do the right thing and send somebody out there to get his window net fixed right. End of story, end of conversation. It was stupid. Now on to the racing itself. The racing itself was bad because it's an all-star race. The only thing you care about is the win here, and nobody could pass. Not when you got up front. Some people said there was some pass in mid-pack. Who cares? Nobody's watching that. It's an all-star race. They're racing for $1 million. $1 million goes to the winner. You're looking at the front of the field. And at the front of the field, you couldn't get within 3 or 4 car lengths of the lead car without stalling out with that dreaded arrow push. Texas Motor Speedway was a terrible selection to have your all-star race at. It doesn't provide very good racing. The track basically needs to be reconfigured. But in an all-star race, you're looking at the front of the pack, you're looking at the lead, because that's who's going to win the $1 million. And there was no passing for the lead. It was terrible. It was atrocious. Texas Speedway needs to be broken up and reconfigured as a racetrack. And the all-star race needs to be moved around to venues that don't get NASCAR at all, or to venues that can pack out the stands for an all-star race. But it doesn't need to be held at Texas until that place is completely reconfigured. I don't like to take a race away from anybody without offering a solution. Dallas-Fort Worth area does deserve a race. That's a good market, but that track needs to be reconfigured to give them a proper race. There's a lot of competitive racetracks they can look at to model it after, but that track is not it, and they need to tear it down and reconfigure it. And finally, for the 4 millionth time, we're going to talk about tires. This time I'm just going to go to a Twitter quote from Nick Bromberg. Nick tweeted, "NASCAR and Goodyear have a serious tire problem, huh?" To which Matt Weaver, in his infinite wisdom, tweeted, "Where does that stop, though? Goodyear compensates the teams and take advantage of that. Repeat, Goodyear already produces very conservative tires for that reason." Matt Weaver, always with a throat full of NASCAR. Anyway, it stops with some basic rule enforcing, tire pressures, and camber. Thank you, Nick Bromberg. That is exactly what I'm talking about. NASCAR, if NASCAR wants to keep blaming the teams for going too low on air pressure, well, you know what NASCAR can do? Send an official down there and check the tires to make sure that they are properly inflated before each and every single race, at least at the start of them. During pit stops and all that, whatever. But at the start of the race, we should never see tire failure because NASCAR has the chance to look at those tires before the start of each and every race and make sure that they are properly inflated before the cars enter the racetrack. Simple, easy solution because everybody is taking the easy route of blaming the teams when in fact Goodyear is probably making absolute trash tires because these teams have been working with tires for their entire time they've been racing with race cars, right? So they know how far they can push these tires, and these tires right here are just junk and they're falling apart. They can't hold up for 25 laps in an all-star race. It is a trash tire, and Goodyear needs to do something about it. I will die on that hill because they're just taking the easy road out and blaming the teams, and it's complete and total BS. All right, I normally do, good race, bad race, and finishing order, but since it's the all-star race and all you really care about is who won, well, we're just going to talk about the winner because we've done enough bad. The entire thing was bad, and this whole thing's been bad. It's been a negative episode, unfortunately, but let's talk about the good thing. The good thing is Ryan Blaney won the race. Ryan Blaney had the best car. Ryan Blaney did what he had to do, and he did it twice because he survived the BS caution, and he won the race, and thank God he won the race. He showed strength. He showed a lot of he actually drove the crap out of the car, too, early in the race. I remember watching him when he slid up 2 or 3 grooves trying to make a pass. Like, he drove the wheels off the thing. He was trying really hard, and it was cool to see, even though it wasn't my favorite paint scheme, it was cool to see Wrangler on the hood. The 2 yellows kind of clash. So maybe Menards and Wrangler can work something out going forward where they just sort of go with one type of yellow for the car because it has a chance to be a really good-looking car if they would just match the yellows. But Ryan Blaney, all credit to him. He did well, and big credit to Ford. They got thrown that curveball by NASCAR early in the season. Some people thought I was down on Ford. I'm not down on Ford. I just don't think NASCAR should have thrown them that curveball that close to the beginning of the season in a year where everything is supposed to be equal for everybody. Everybody's R&D had R&D'd the exact same amount of time until that point, and then you throw that curveball right before Daytona and sort of put Ford behind the 8 ball, but it looks like they have figured out that new nose that they have now because they looked really strong in this race, so it is good to see all the manufacturers kind of back on an even playing field at this point because, of course, I'm a Chevy guy, but I want Chevy to win the Manufacturers Championship legitimately. I want everybody to have a fair shot at it. Otherwise, it's a hollow championship. But good to see Ryan Blaney get this win. Penske showed a lot of strength, and good for Ford. They are back on their game. All right, that is all I've got for you. If you got something, leave it down in the comments. If you have made it this far, feel free to subscribe. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.